Predictions for the year 2023 based on just your date of birth. You don't even need a birth chart. That's what I talk about today. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste.
Aham Brahmasmi.
Let me start out by wishing all my viewers and subscribers a very, very happy new year. May 2023 bring you all the happiness, success, and prosperity that you've ever desired in your life. May it be the best year ever. Enjoy the love in your life and make sure you're always staying safe. Now let's talk about 2023 and the predictions that we can make based on the numerological vibration of your birth dates. So in order to do some predictions, let's understand two fundamentals of this exercise that we're going to do today. One, that numerology believes in the concept of prime numbers 1 through 9. So anytime you add up a bunch of numbers, which may be in your birth date, you're going to have to keep adding the numbers until the final result is reduced to a single digit 1 through 9. That's the first concept. The second concept is the fact that numerology believes that we live in a repeating pattern of 9-year cycles. Each 9-year cycle starts with a personal year number 1. The next year would be a personal year number 2, and so on and so forth until you get to a personal year number 9. At which point the next year you start a completely new cycle, which is the next 9-year cycle. So you now need to understand where you are in this 9-year cycle for 2023. Now, why is it so accurate? The reason for that is that each year, each personal year has a rhythm and flow and energy associated to it. And the reason for that is that each number or each personal year number corresponds to the energy of a certain planet. So there's Vedic astrology believes in the concept of 9 primary planets. The sun and moon are considered planets for Vedic astrology. I know they're not planets, but they're considered planets. So each one of those nine numbers, 1 through 9, relates to the energy and vibration of one of the planets, 1 through 9. So and whatever that significations of that planet relating to that number is what guides the energy, the rhythm, and the theme for that year. So as an example, the number 3 relates to the planet Jupiter. So when somebody is in a personal year number 3, they're going to get a lot of Jupiterian influence in that year, and they're going to be associated with a lot of whatever the planet Jupiter is related to. So that's how I combine the knowledge of astrology and numerology and make these predictions. This concept in numerology is a very lesser known concept. A lot of people that practice numerology are actually not able to do these predictions because they don't know astrology as much. I do astrology and numerology, and hence I'm able to make these predictions that are based in numerology but also utilize the knowledge of astrology. Hence these predictions are actually amazingly accurate. They determine the theme and the rhythm of each year that you're going to be in. So what year are you in currently? Because you're somewhere in that 9-year cycle. You're going to be in 2022. You were in somewhere in that 9-year cycle, and then in 2023 you're going to be in that next 9 years, somewhere in that 9-year cycle. So the key is to figure out which number are you going to be, like what is your personal year number for 2023, and that's how you would listen to my predictions. So my predictions are going to be based on the personal year 1 through 9, but in order to know which one to listen to, you're going to have to know which personal year you're having for 2023. So I'm going to show you how to calculate which personal year you are going to be for 2023. So let's figure out how to calculate which year you are in that numbers 1 through 9. So I'm going to use an example birth date. So supposing somebody was born on November 1st. So you would only add your date and month of birth, and then you add it to the current year. So you would add November, which is 1, and which is 11, I'm sorry, and then the date is 1, and then you would add that to 2023. So you would add right here. So you would add 11, which is 1 plus 1, and November, which is November, and then the date is 1, the 1st of November. So you add another 1, and then you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, which is for 2023. And the result of adding all of that is 10. So now remember, I said you have to reduce everything to a single digit. So you're going to do 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. Now, if my next panels are going to be 2 more sample dates, you can pause the video and just kind of look at it, and then you can do your own birth date calculation. And now notice that you don't have to add the year of your birth. So the only 2 data that you're taking is the date and the month of your birth, but you're using the year, which is the current year, which in this case you're doing predictions for 2023, so that's what you use. So let's first understand the general vibration of the year 2023 based on numerology. 2 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to a 7. So the year 2023 is going to vibrate at the energy of a 7. And number 7 is represented by the planet Ketu, or sometimes known as South Node. Ketu is a very spiritual planet. It represents this 5 S's, which is self, spirituality, separation, solitude, and also secrecy. The most important representation of Ketu is spirituality. So one of the things that the whole energy of the universe is going to be, or most of us are going to feel, is the lack of material desires. Number 6 was the energy of the year 2022. 6 was the energy of Venus, where Venus represents the relationships in our life and the material desires in our life. It also represents finance, or the desire for financial success, or the desire for all the material, the luxurious things in our life. A lot of us felt the need to maintain relationships, the burden of relationships, and also running after material things or things that money can buy in the year 2022. Now, as 2023 comes, it's the exact opposite energy. A lot of us are going to feel that the relationships that we served in 2022 probably have burdened us and have tired us out. They're exhausted us. And now 2023 brings the energy of the self, where a lot of us are going to self-introspect and think about what makes us truly happy. The happiness of the internal soul is actually the best representation of Ketu. So a lot of us are going to stop running after material desires and look more towards inner happiness, inner joy, and inner bliss. That's what Ketu represents. So the best guidance that I can give to everybody is 2023 is not the year to run after material desires or to chase after relationships that no longer work for us or are a burden on our soul. Remember, I said Ketu represents separations. So Ketu is also going to teach us that we probably need to separate from the things that no longer give us any happiness in our life, whether it's relationships, whether it's the material desires. Go after more spirituality and more after the divine. Now, by spirituality, I don't mean religion. To me, religion and spirituality are 2 very different things. Spirituality is when you lead a holistic life, the simple life. Religion is when you go to religious institutions. Now, some people like going to religious institutions and following following religious practices. By all means, do that if that's what spirituality means to you. So Ketu, like I said, represents spirituality, moving away from the material desires and focusing more on the inner soul. The best way I can tell you is that 2023 brings the energy of the soul and what makes the soul truly happy. This is the year of the inner happiness, the happiness of the soul. Stop running after things that no longer give you shallow happiness, and make sure that you find self-introspect and find what makes you really truly happy, gives your soul happiness, and make sure you do those things. I'm not talking that it's a year of selfish. This is not about selfishness or only thinking about yourself. This is where you think about yourself, where you make yourself happy first, and then you're in a better position to make people that you love happier as well. When you're not internally happy yourself, you can't give happiness to others. Hence, this is the year where you give yourself more happiness. You first have to find out what makes you truly happy at the internal level. Make yourself happy, go after your own internal joys and happiness, and that's when you can move ahead and give other people, people that you truly love, people that are going to truly give you happiness. And that's when you can give them happiness back. That's the energy of Ketu, and that's going to be the energy of 2023. Stop running after material desires that are shallow in nature and learn to live a more holistic life, a more pure, joyous life, a blissful life, and make sure you feed your soul this year. Before I move on, let me remind you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. I regularly put out very amazingly accurate predictions videos and any other numerology astrology videos that you may put a request for. You can request it in the comments or send me an email. The email address is on my screen right now. And also share this video with all your friends, all your family. It's very important to know what's going to happen next year, what kind of energy everybody's going to be in, so they best utilize it to their advantage. Also, there's Tina Chaudhary Astrology, the merchandise that I have, zodiac signs t-shirts for women, is underneath. You can see my shelf, and they're made great Christmas gifts. The quality of the t-shirt is amazing, and very high quality t-shirts. They're not your typical cheap t-shirts. So if you want to get them for gifts for people for Christmas, what a great, wonderful gift. So if you want to get Christmas gifts, the t-shirts are beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. It's custom designed by a designer that I had. So you can look at them and get them for Christmas gifts. You're having the personal year number 1. Wow, the start of a new 9-year cycle. Well, congratulations. You've started a new 9-year cycle, and now you get to decide how you want to proceed for the next 9 years. Well, the number 1 is represented by the sun. And like the sun comes out bright, beautiful every morning and starts a new day. Nothing can stop it. It's full of energy, vitality, and bright light. This is exactly how your year is going to be. You're going to be full of energy, bright light, radiance, and you're going to have this great aura because you've just started a new day, a new 9-year cycle. The sun also represents our soul. And like I said, it represents energy. It also represents our confidence. It also represents our willingness to do new things. And the reason for that is simple, because now this is the year you're going to do new things. It's the year of new beginnings. Use this year very wisely. This is the year you're going to sow the seeds for what you're going to reap in the next few years. This is the year where you're going to fly solo. The light is on you. You have full visibility. It's a wonderful year, like I said, and the reason for that is you're going to be very visible. You may even get a leadership role at work because the sun represents leaders. It's the leader of all the planets. It represents governments, politicians, leaders of of big companies. So you may get a leadership role at your work. You may also have to take the leadership role at your home if you're not working, where you have to have to tell people what to do in order to get things done. So make sure you have full responsibility. You understand your role, you understand the responsibility, and you understand discipline. Above all, the sun represents discipline. It comes out in the morning no matter what, and it sets in the evening no matter what. And this is why the sun represents very strong discipline. You're going to be very disciplined. You're going to be full of energy and confidence in order to accomplish, or in order to sow the seeds of what you want to accomplish. Goal setting is going to be very important this year, because you need to know what seeds you want to plant so you know what you want to reap in the next few years. Plan very, very carefully and put those plans into action. Think deeply before you even plan, because understand that whatever you're going to plant start the new beginnings this year is what you're going to have to reap the fruits in the next following years. It's a great year. It's a great chance. What is it that you want to do? Do you want a new job? Do you want a new career? Do you want to start new hobbies? Do you want to start a new education? Whatever it is that you want to start new, this is the year where you can do it. So take action, take the bull by the horns, and use your confidence and your ability and move forward with full confidence, with full energy. This is not the time to be lazy. The sun can't be lazy. It can't say, well, I'm not coming out this morning. So this is not the time for you to say, well, I'll do it later. I'll do it next year. I'll do it. This is not the time to do that. If you do that, you're actually going to miss the whole 9-year boat. So this is the year that sets the tone for the next 9 years. Don't let it go waste. One more thing. The sun also represents the government. So if there's things that you need from the government, if there's any benefits, if there's any paperwork that you're waiting for from the government, this is the year you can either apply for it, or if you're waiting for it, this is the year you're actually going to get it. So this is a great time if you're looking for something like that. Like I said, it's a wonderful time to initiate new ideas. If you want to start something new, this is the time. If you want to start a new business, you start a new idea, start a new hobby, start anything new, start a new field of study, wonderful year to do it. Now, the only downside is that the sun does represent our ego. So you may be a little bit egoistic because you're just looking so great. You have this great aura. Everybody's looking at you and you're doing so well. So you need to watch and control the ego that comes with this planet sun. Make sure you control it. So the sun, one of the other things about the sun is it's fair. It gives light to everybody. It doesn't discriminate. So make sure you control your ego. You're fair to everybody. You treat everybody equally and you're good to everybody. That's the energy of a beautiful, positive sun. You have a number 1 year. The sky's the limit. Go for it. Do whatever it is that your heart desired. You're coming out of a 9-year where you closed out everything. You probably finalized a lot of things. Probably a lot of things left your life and ended. Start your new life. Start your new 9-year cycle. And good luck. So you are having the personal year number 2. Number 2 is represented by the planet Moon. Have you seen the moon? How it's never the same size, it's never the same shape. Welcome to the year of an emotional roller coaster. That's exactly what's going to happen with you. It's a constantly changing year where your mood and your emotional situation is going to change constantly. That's what the moon is. It's your mind, it's your emotion. It's a quiet year. This is the year of your emotions, your mind, your mental situation, and sensitivity. You're going to be very emotional this year. Well, it's going to be an emotional year, highs and lows as well. So this is a year where you're going to have to come down from the number 1 year that you had previously. The number 1 year was a year of where probably something new started. You were probably very active. The energy was all over you of the sun. The number 1 year was a sun year. So you probably started new things. It was a very active year. You had a lot of energy. You had a lot of charisma, and you were probably raring to start something new. Well, the moon is just the opposite of that. Well, number 1, you're going to start seeing the results of whatever it is that you started in a number 1 year. But now 2 represents partnerships. So last year was a year of you flying solo. Number 2 year is a year of partnerships, like I said, and it's a year to be part of a team. So this is the year where you're not going to want to be solo, or you shouldn't want to be solo. You need to work in partnership and in conjunction with everybody around you. At home, if you have a partner, then you need to work very closely with that partner. Don't try to be alone and try to work solo, like I said. Make sure you take care of the emotional needs of your partner, and that's the only way your partner will take care of your emotional needs and mental desires and mental well-being. At work, you need to make sure that you now function as part of a team instead of trying to be the leader of the team. You need to be a team player. This is the only thing that's going to work this year. If you try to become the boss at work and try to tell people, it's not going to work out well for you, because this year has the energy of the moon, which relates to partnerships and companionships. Remember, 2 has the energy of 2 people or more than one person. So as you come away from the number 1 year, you're now moving into a year of partnerships and collaborations. You need to be very collaborative in your approach, as opposed to saying, this is all about me. This is not about you. This year is not all about you. This year is about how you take care of the emotional needs of others, so the others can take care of your emotional needs. This year is a constantly changing year where, like I said, the moon waxes and wanes. And so this is the year where you're going to have a lot of patience, because things may change constantly. The things that are going to change may not be so much actual events that change, but it's going to be your mental situation that changes, where you're going to be happy one minute, sad the next, excited the one minute and not so excited, or a little down the next. You need to be very prepared for these changes and make sure you don't ride the emotional roller coaster in a negative way. Ride the emotional roller coaster in a very positive way, and understand that you need to, whenever you're down, you need to go to somebody that can satisfy that emotional need in you. But when you're on a high, you share that with others. That's how the energy of the number 2 year is going to work in your favor. The other thing that I've always noticed in my many years of following this concept is that I've seen a lot of people get engaged in the number 2 year and then get married in the number 3 year. I've also seen a lot of people fall in love during a number 2 year, because remember, a number 1 year was a solo year, and now number 2 is a year of partnerships. So make sure you're emotionally very healthy and you attract the right person into your life. A number 2 year does attract people towards you, as long as you stay emotionally balanced and emotionally healthy, and you try to make sure you think back and decide what kind of a person you want, and that's the energy you will attract. So it's a very nice, positive, soft, pleasant year, as long as you take good use of this energy. Number 2, or in the moon, also represents your mother. So there may be a lot of issues, not issues in a bad way, but a lot of things that come up in relationship to your mother. You may spend a lot of time with your mother. You may have your mother come back in your life. If you're very young and you're still lucky enough to have your mother in your life, you may share lots of good memories with her, or you may share lots of positive time with your mother. But the number 2 definitely represents your mother. So make sure you bring her back in your life this year and share lots of good times with your mother, so you can bring the positive energy into your life this year, because this is the year you need to do that. And that's your good luck charm, is your mom. If your mother is not in your life, unfortunately, you can always look to somebody that's more like a mother-like figure, and that would work just as well. Make sure you drink lots of water to make sure you stay emotionally healthy, because the moon does represent water. So make sure you drink lots of water, stay emotionally healthy, and make sure that you spread this emotional well-being and health to others. Make sure you stay very collaborative with your partnerships, and have a wonderfully pleasant, soft, emotional, and a lovely year. You're having the personal year number 3, and the 3 is represented by the planet Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is considered one of the most benefic planets of all the 9 planets. So you would naturally assume that a number 3 year, or a personal year number 3, is going to be a wonderful year. Well, you've got it right, because Jupiter represents all the wonderful things that we enjoy in our lives. The number 1 representation of Jupiter is growth and abundance. It's the biggest planet in all the 9 planets. So it represents growth, it represents a lot of abundance. The growth could be in different ways. It could be in your career. It could also be growth in your family. Jupiter does represent children. So if you're trying to start a family, what a wonderful year. If you're trying to find love in your life or get married, wonderful time for that. I've mentioned before in my number 2 year that I've seen a lot of couples get engaged in a number 2 year and married in a number 3 year. So this is a good time to grow your family, whether it's getting married or having children. One of the other representations of Jupiter is education, wisdom, and knowledge. So if you're a student, or if you want to learn something new, or you're just wanting to start a new career or a hobby, this is a good time to do that. Jupiter supports learning in all ways. Now, one of the things about Jupiter is that it wants to stay positive. It's a very benefic planet. So it doesn't support negativity in any way. It doesn't support hurting people in any way. It's a pure planet. And so the key to getting all these benefits in a number 3 year is to stay positive and spread your happiness and positivity to others. It does support growth and abundance. But what is the key, and how do you get that growth and abundance from Jupiter in a number 3 year? Well, the best way to do it is to use your wisdom. So Jupiter does represent wisdom, and so the best way you can get your growth and abundance in your career, because that's where all of us want it, is to use wisdom, because Jupiter is a very wise planet. It's called Guru in Hindi, so it represents our coaches, mentors, and guides. So the best way to do that is to use your wisdom this year on how you can grow your business, how you can grow your career, how you can have abundance of wealth and income. You need to be very wise about it. You can't just go about it and say, well, it's going to fall from the trees. You need to think carefully, use your wisdom on how you can go about this year in getting what it is that you want, how you can grow your career, like I said before. If you're not able to think clearly, or if you think you need any help, the best thing you can do in number 3 year is go to somebody who you do consider a guru or an advisor, or somebody who's you respect, somebody's opinion you respect, or somebody's advice that you respect. Jupiter does represent coaches, guides, mentors, teachers. So it's a wonderful year to go get somebody's advice, somebody who you respect, and get their advice on how you can best utilize this energy to move forward in your life, whether it's through education, whether it's through your career, or whether it's in anything in life. To get a life coach. What a wonderful year to get a life coach if you think you need one. It's a wonderful year to even turn to the divine or spirituality if you feel like you need some inner peace for happiness. It's a great year for that. Jupiter represents all these things. So Jupiter above all represents advice, wisdom. So if you feel that you can give somebody else good advice with a pure heart, by all means do that, because it does generate that beautiful Jupiter energy in this year. So you definitely need to go through this year thinking about how you can grow, you can have abundance in your life. Some people move to bigger homes in a number 3 year, because that's growth as well. So if you've been living in a smaller dwelling, you want to move to a bigger home, that happens in a number 3 year as well, because it does mean growth. So growth could be of all kinds. Growth could even mean plants. So if you want to grow a garden, what a perfect year to do that, because like I said, Jupiter does signify growth. So plant lots of flowers, watch them grow. You want to plant fruits and vegetables. This is a great year to get a good harvest, because Jupiter does represent, like I said, growth and beautiful energy. So use the energy of Jupiter very wisely. One of the other significations, before I forget, is expanding your social circle and network connections, because it does signify growth. Reach out to people, have fun with them in your social circle. Reach out and have fun. Jupiter does signify having lots of fun and pure joy, and just kind of having fun with friends. So reach out, do everything you can with your friends. Reach out, grow your social circle. Also, you should grow your network professional circle at this time, because Jupiter does represent growth of all kinds. Reach out to professional contacts, see who you can grow, ask for help, ask for guidance, and ask for all kinds of career support. This is a wonderful year to do that as well. So have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Jupiter year. This is a great year. Use it wisely. Wisdom, use it wisely, and see what you can get in terms of wonderful growth and happiness this year. So you're having the personal year number 4. Number 4 is represented by the planet Rahu, or North Node. Now Rahu is not really a planet, it's the north shadow of the moon. So Rahu represents a confusion, it represents suddenness, it also represents obsessive tendencies. So these are the things that Rahu is going to bring about this year, where you may be, there may be sudden events in your life, sudden life-altering events. They may happen in your life. They can be good, they can be also some challenging events, but they will be sudden, they may come out of nowhere. Now, Rahu is known to create confusion in the mind, because remember I said it's a shadow planet, or it's a shadow, it's not a planet, but it creates these shadows, it creates these smoke and mirrors in your mind. It makes things appear bigger than they really are. So when you look at, or you judge a situation, or you judge a person, you're going to look at it from not a realistic point of view, but it's going to look bigger in your mind. So if somebody hurts your feelings, you're going to imagine that it's bigger than it really is. If there's a problem in your life, you're going to imagine it to be bigger than it really is. You need to control this tendency. Rahu also gives you obsessive tendencies. So you're probably going to obsess about things this year, where it could be obsessing about a certain diet. It's going to be obsessing about plans. It's going to be obsessing about people. It could be obsessing about anything. So it creates these kind of things. One of the things that Rahu is very famous for, it creates a little laziness also in your life. It feels like it doesn't want to do anything. Now you have to master all these energies, because Rahu does have a little bit of challenging energy. So the best way to manage Rahu's challenging energy is to make your goal. Think about what you want to do this year, and then you will start obsessing about it, and you'll always reach that goal. So make sure you think carefully about what your goals are going to be this year. The goals could be anything. They could be career related. They could be related to your personal life. If there's a bad habit or something that you really want to get rid of, like if somebody wants to get rid of any bad habits, this is the year to do them. Because once you focus on a goal, you make a goal, Rahu's going to get obsessive about it and you want to get rid of them. Or if you make a goal that you want to achieve something, Rahu's going to make you obsess about it till you achieve it. So this is the perfect year, the perfect energy where you can achieve your goals once you start obsessing about them. The trick's going to be that in the beginning of the year, you're going to think about what is your goal this year. What do you want to work towards this year? And that's how you're going to achieve your goals. Like I said, the good goal could be anything. It could be related to your career. It could also be related to your personal development. It could be related to how you want to be, or how you want to physically be. If you want to, let's say you want to start a physical workout regimen, or if you want to get rid of a bad habit, or if you want to move ahead in your career, you want to find a new job, you want to learn a new skill. The goal could be anything. Once you give Rahu that goal, you're going to go about it like a mad dog, and you're going to achieve it this year. The critical part is going to be how you think through it and what goal you give yourself, because whatever it is that you give yourself, you're going to achieve it. So make sure in the beginning of the year, you don't waste the beginning of the year where you don't assign yourself these goals. Because if you don't, the year is going to be a very distracted year. It's going to be a very a year where you don't really get this energy to do anything. Because like I said, Rahu is going to give you a certain amount of laziness, in the sense that it doesn't want to do anything. It just kind of goes here, there, and everything, and it's a scattered energy. So don't get involved in the scattered energy that Rahu gives you. Make sure you do make these wonderful goals. Make sure you go after them, because Rahu is going to make you achieve them. So this is the year of working hard, assigning goals, and then running after them and achieving them. This year could be a wonderful year depending upon how you use this energy. It could be a wasted year if you don't utilize this energy. So I'm suggesting that you go after your goals, make your goals and go after them, and utilize this energy to your benefit. In the past, I've seen some people where they've utilized this energy beautifully and they've achieved so much. You can achieve whatever it is you want. It's actually the year of manifestation. Rahu is actually the king of manifestation. So you can use this energy to manifest your desires, or you can use this energy and let it just go to waste. I've seen a lot of people also where they've just done nothing in a number 4 year, because they've either been so not wanting to work, and they've just been so distracted, and their energy's been so scattered, going from one thing to another, and then they've achieved nothing. It's up to you to take full advantage of this beautiful year. It's called a challenging year. I call it a beautiful year because it's the year of manifestations. So for you, I challenge you, manifest whatever it is that you want in this year. Make sure you make your goals early in the year and go after them, and you will achieve them. So you're having the personal year number 5, and number 5 is represented by the planet Mercury. Mercury is a planet that doesn't stay still. Have you ever seen Mercury? A lot of us old timers have seen Mercury in the old thermometers. It could never stay still. It just keeps moving. Well, this is the year where status quo is not going to be the way to go. It's going to be a constantly changing year. So get used to it. And become very, very flexible, because the minute you get used to something, it's going to change. So make sure you don't get used to whatever comes around, because within minutes something will change. It's a constantly changing year, and flexibility is going to be the key. Let's see what Mercury represents. Mercury represents some of the best things, material things in our life, which is finance. It represents our career, and above all, it represents communication skills. This is the year where your communication skills are going to be wonderful and great. How are you going to use them depends on you. You're going to be able to make friends. You're going to invite new people into your life. You can do that. You can certainly use your communication skills to get ahead in your career, because Mercury does represent finance. So if for people that work in finance, that people that work in transport, people that work in fields of communication are going to do wonderful this year. Now, I don't really know of any field or any profession that doesn't deal in the world of communication. Almost all professions need to be very well communicated. So this is going to be a year for almost all of us where we all do really well, especially if you're involved in any kind of social media work. Mercury deals with social media as well. Mercury, above all, deals with the IT world. So if you're in the field, any field, literally, have I missed out any field? No. So if you're in any of these fields, this is the year where you're going to see lots of changes, and you can use them to your advantage. How? Because I said communication is going to be a key this year. And because communication is going to be a key, words are just going to come easily. You need to watch the words that come out of your mouth, because you don't want the wrong words to come out. So use good communication to get ahead, make friends, advance your social circle. But now, one of the other things that's going to happen is, because Mercury is a constantly changing environment, there could be lots of opportunities that come up your way. And sometimes Mercury acts a little rashly. It makes decisions quickly without thinking. So my guidance to you is to make sure that every time an opportunity comes up, every time something new comes up, you think through things carefully before you make a rash or a quick decision. So think through things carefully before you take on these opportunities, because there will be lots of opportunities. If people are looking for a job and they're having a personal number 5, there's a very, very wonderful chance that you're going to get a job this year. In fact, you might get multiple offers this year during the course of the year, but you need to think carefully before you take a job. A lot of times we take in a number 5 year, we start jobs or we accept new opportunities very quickly, and then we regret them later, because Mercury makes you make rash decisions. So think carefully before you act on things that that come up your way. Make sure that you are either asking for guidance during this time, because Mercury does tend to make people act before thinking. It's the best way I can tell you. So make sure you think carefully or ask for others' advice. The best person to ask is somebody that's having a personal year number 3. One of the other aspects that Mercury has is traveling. So you probably think of traveling a lot, or you may actually travel a lot. So Mercury does represent a lot of constantly changing things in business, in finance, travel, making friends, talking fast, talking a lot. And so you need to use this energy wisely. Look at all the opportunities before you jump on opportunities. Think before you talk. And of course, Mercury does represent finance. So the chances of making good income, good money are great in a number 5. Like I said, you have to think carefully before you make decisions. Otherwise, you may not make that good money that the number 5 year does indicate you could make. So make sure your communication is good. You make wise decisions, and the income and the money will flow, because number 5 is very well known for good finances. So make sure you're very, very ready for a number 5 year. It's a constantly changing year. This is not the year that you're going to be bored. Make sure you're very flexible, adaptable to changes, and make sure you take wise decisions and make good use of this number 5 year. It's going to be a wonderful time for career and finance if you make the right decisions and play your cards right. You're having the personal year number 6, and 6 is represented by the planet Venus. Venus is known for all the wonderful things that we love in our life: romance, relationships, material desires, the luxuries of our life, material wealth, things that money can buy, having fun, arts, music, all the wonderful things, like I said, that give us so much joy. You guys have come out of a number 5 year, and number 5 year was the up and down year where things were constantly changing, and it was all about advancement, probably finance, and probably your job. And like I said, it was a very changeable year. A lot of events happened in the number 5 year. Here comes the number 6 year, represented by Venus. This is the year of relationships, where you're going to have to be there for relationships. Your relationship is going to be tested. Not one relationship, all your relationships, and your responsibility in your relationships is going to be tested. You need to be prepared that you have very strong shoulders, because a lot of people are going to come to you and probably use your shoulders for emotional support. Not only are you going to have to be there for other people's emotional support, but you may at times need some emotional support as well, because this year is all about testing of relationships and your emotional support that you can give to others. Lots of people will come to you, and you're going to have to be there for them. The key is going to be how many people are you going to be there for, and what is the test that you're going to have to pass as far as relationships are concerned. Which relationships are you going to be there for? How much are you going to get exhausted? And when and how much can you be there for everybody? Well, that's the test this year. You're going to have to sit back and think about which relationships are important for you, which ones are not. By the end of the year, it will be exhausting for you, where you're like, I'm so tired of maintaining the burden of the relationships. The number 6 also represents finance. Venus represents your money, your financial situation. It also represents all the things that money can buy. So number 6 here frequently puts the burden of finance on you. Burden in not a bad way, but just general burden, where you're very bogged down by how much money you have, what you need to buy, and all the material desires. A number 6 here always wants to make you run after the luxuries of life. It likes to make you go shopping. It likes to make you buy nice things for yourself and others. And it likes to give you the nice things in life. You like to enjoy all the nice things in life. So here we have it. Here's your relationships being tested. And here you're liking to spend money, you're liking to go out and enjoy, a nice time in the evening, you're liking to buy new things and luxurious things. And so here comes the test this year, is where you're trying to emotionally balance these two very diverse energies. Venus does represent very diverse energies, which is the softer side of Venus, which is the relationships, and the hard side of Venus, which is the material desires. So this is the year where you're going to have to learn to balance both of these energies really well. Sometimes where you may have to give up the material desires because of a relationship. And so this is the year where it's testing you. What are you going to give up sometimes? Is it going to be sometimes you give up the money or your material desires, or the luxurious desires, in favor of a relationship, or do you give up your relationship sometimes for money? So this is a test this year, where this year will test you. It will test you to not only your relationships, but also it'll test you, how much do you value money? How much do you value your material desires? It's a fine balance. So this is the year where you're going to have to understand the fine balance between relationships, people, and monetary and financial situations, or your material desires in life. You need to understand that at the beginning of the year, that this test is going to come throughout this year, and where you're going to stand. So you're going to have to assess your relationships. You're going to have to assess your material desires in every step of the way during this year, because those tests are going to come up frequently this year. One of the other aspects of number 6 here is your home and your domestic bliss, because it does represent relationships. Your key relationships are almost always the ones that are at home. So a lot of times in a number 6 here, people do a lot of home decorating. People do a lot of home improvements, making your environment beautiful. So one of the guidance that I can always give people in a number 6 here is to make sure that you create your own space. You create your own beauty, and your own space and own beauty could be that you could plant flowers. You can make sure you clean up all your pictures and make your albums, or hang up pictures on your walls, and make sure you create your own space. A number 6 year generally gives very good results when you do that, by planting gardens, by planting flowers, always having flowers around you, having good pictures around you, or your pictures of your relationships, of the people that your key relationships, you hang up pictures. It kind of generates a very good Venus energy within your life. So that's one of the very good ways to get the good positive energy of Venus into your life. The other thing that Venus does, a number 6 year and Venus does, is it makes a person very focused on their own beauty and their own how they look. Vanity is the best way I can say it. So if you want to do a makeover, if you want to change the way you look, if you want to work on your own body, this is a wonderful year to do it. So if you've been thinking about hitting the gym and you just haven't had time to do it, this is the year you can start it. You'll see great results. If you want to work on yourself, give yourself a makeover, new haircut, new makeup, this is the year you can do it. You'll see great results because the energy of Venus is going to support you in that whole thing. So the energy of Venus is, like I said, it's challenging, but it's a beautiful energy at the same time. It's challenging in the sense that you're going to have to learn to balance the relationship with the material desires, but in all in all, it's a beautiful energy because it does give you the glow, it does give you the beauty, and it gives you the chance to reinvent your own self and reinvent your own physical beauty. So take full advantage of it. Make sure that you do something for yourself, create beauty around you, create beauty within you, and create beauty for yourself as well to get the wonderful energy of Venus into your life this year. So you're having a personal year number 7. Now, I've already spoken a little bit about the personal year number 7, so I might be repeating some things, but let's still talk about the personal year number 7. So number 7 is represented by Ketu or South Node. Now Ketu represents a lot of things that are more based on spirituality and self-introspection. This is the year where you're coming out of a number 6 year. So a number 6 year was all about relationships. It was all about material desires, running after things, more finance, maintaining the balance between relationships and also your material wealth and desires, and spending money. And now here we come into a number 7 year, which is a very, very quiet year. It's the year of peace, and it's the year about finding the happiness at a soul level. So here we come into a 7 year. It's going to be a very peaceful, quiet year, and it's going to be where you self-introspect and you figure out what gives you true joy. You're so exhausted from the relationships of last year and the issues with relationships last year that now you ask yourself, what makes me happy? This is the year about me. This is the year about my soul. But this about me is not at the selfish level where you just don't care about other people. This is the year about making your own inner self healthy and happy. This is not the year where you're saying, I don't care about others. It is where you care about others, but it is the point where you need to make your soul and your internal self first healthy and happy, because that's the only way you figure you can make others that you care about healthy and happy. You can't make others happy unless you're happy from within. And this is what you're now realize is, look, if I'm going to be miserable and if I'm not happy, how am I going to make my loved ones happy? So this is the year of self-introspection. This is the year where you find, or you try to find, what really gives you peace and happiness from within. And so the energy of Ketu is very spiritual, where you might turn to the divine, you might turn to spirituality, whatever spirituality means to you. Spirituality means different things to different people. And I actually don't mean religion, but I do mean spirituality. To me, spirituality means seeking happiness from within. And so it means different things to different people. For some people, it may actually mean going to religious institutions like churches or temples. To some people, it means meditation. To some people, it means mantra practice. And to some people, it means walking on the beach alone. Regardless of what it means to you, this is what you're going to do, is you're going to go into isolation or solitude and spend some time with yourself. And that's what spirituality really means, is making life simple, where you don't run after things to make life complicated. Spirituality just means living a simple life where it's not full of complications or material desires. Basically the cutting away of material desires is what spirituality means. This year you figure out, I don't really need all these material things. What I really need is inner happiness. And that's going to be the crux of this year. So you're going to have to find your happiness from within away from material desires, and how you do it is going to be based on what makes you tick and what works for you. And so this is what you're going to do. It is a beautiful year. So this is obviously once in 9 years that you get this chance to be truly happy from within. Use this energy wisely. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. If it means sitting in solitude for 10 minutes in your backyard, by all means do it, because that energy is going to vibrate so beautifully for you because of the fact that it's a 7-year and you're going to start feeling so peaceful. If it means solitude, going for a walk by yourself in nature, by all means do that, because that's the energy that's finally going to work for you. You're so exhausted from the number 6 year. A number 6 year is very exhausting. Even though it's the energy of Venus, it's an exhausting year. It's emotionally draining year. So now number 7 comes around. It gives you the chance to find peace. Make sure you use it wisely. One of the challenges of a 7-year is also the energy of separations. Ketu has separative tendencies, so sometimes there's endings and partings in a 7-year. Voluntary, involuntary. Because voluntary is because you find out that you don't want to do certain things. Some things aren't just working for you. It could be a job, it could be a home, it could be a relationship, and you figure out that this doesn't work for me, so I'm ending it. So those are the voluntary kind. The involuntary is when people leave you, or you change jobs, or something just exits your life. So Ketu does have separative tendencies, so there's some challenges in a 7-year. So make sure you kind of manage through that really well. Turning to the divine, is a wonderful way to manage this 7-year energy. But again, like I said, it's a beautiful year to find inner peace and inner happiness. I wish all of you wonderful good luck. Make sure you utilize the positive part of a 7-year to your advantage and find inner joy. So you're having a personal year number 8. The 8 is represented by the planet Saturn. Now, a lot of people that know astrology probably said, Saturn, I don't want anything to do with that, thank you. Well, Saturn is known to have some characteristics that probably some people don't want. What are those? Hard work, discipline, obstacles. But Saturn is also the god of karma. So here comes a year where you're going to get the rewards and reap the benefits of all the karma that you've been creating for all the past years. If you've been doing hard work and discipline in the past year, this is going to be your best year ever, because Saturn is also known to make king. Saturn is considered the kingmaker. So an 8-year can go different ways. One of the things that it's going to do, it's going to make you do very hard work, and it's going to make you very disciplined in your routine. So all of a sudden, if you're not been that way, you're now going to be very disciplined in how you follow your daily routine. It's going to also give you the tendency to put a lot of hard work in. It's probably not going to make you want to enjoy things. It's probably going to say, you need to work very hard. Let me get this done, let me get that done, and let me get that done. It's going to make you very task focused. It's also going to make you very responsibility focused. Saturn is the number 1 planet that gives you lots of responsibility. So this is the year where you're going to be tasked with lots and lots of responsibilities. They can come from all factors. They can be at work, where you may get a leadership role and you may get a lot of responsibilities. Now, to me, that's a good responsibility, because as you advance in your career, as you rise to the next level at work, you get more responsibility. That's why it's considered a kingmaker, because as Saturn gives you more responsibilities, usually responsibilities come with as you grow higher in your career. So you will get more responsibilities this year, and when you get more responsibilities, obviously you have to work hard. That's why people get confused by Saturn and say, well, I don't like that planet. But to me, it's one of the best planets as far as advancing in your life is concerned, because unless you have more responsibility, you don't advance in life. So these responsibilities will be given this year, and you will put the hard work in to get the rewards. It's a karmic year. You're not only going to get the rewards of the hard work you do this year, but you're also going to get them for all the hard work and the efforts that you've been putting in all the previous years. One of the other things that Saturn is also very famous for is people coming to you, approaching you for help. Saturn is the significator of people that are lower than you or people that work for you, and so hence you may find yourself helping out people that work for you, your people that at work that work for you, or people even at home that are in lower in situations than you, or that are more needy than you, is the best way I can say it. So you may find yourself helping out people that are very needy. This is the year, like I said, it's full of responsibility, but it's also full of very good rewards. A lot of people get their best advancements at work in a number 8 year, and like I said, it's the year of karma. It's the year where you get the rewards of your karma. One of the things that I've noticed in a number 8 year is that we tend to not spend so much money, and we try to save money. Saturn is known to not spend money but save money. So this is a very good year to save money, to save resources. So wonderful year. Use this energy really well. The only good guidance that I can give you is to make sure that you do hard work, you stay very disciplined, and if somebody approaches you for help, don't turn it down, because this is almost a test that Saturn throws at us and tries to see, are we going to incur the good karma by helping others, or are we going to turn people away and say, well, I'm not helping, and that's considered somewhat of a negative, challenging karma. So whenever somebody approaches you for help of any kind, any assistance, make sure you help them out. And that's going to be a lot this year. A lot of people are going to approach you for help. Make sure you do help them out. It's going to be Saturn's karmic test. Make sure you pass that karmic test. But one of the things I can tell you is that a number 8 year gives you lots of good reward, lots of good benefits, and you may advance in your career. You may grow really well in your career, and you may make a lot of money, and you may save a lot of money. Enjoy your Saturn year. I know it's probably not going to be your enjoyable, having fun year, but you're certainly going to get good rewards and good recognition in a number 8 year. You're having a personal year number 9. It's the last year in the 9-year cycle. 9 is also represented by the planet Mars. Mars is considered a fighter planet. Do you know what a fighter does? It goes out, does battle, and just ends the battle, finishes off things. Hence, 9 year is the end of certain things. It just finishes off whatever it has started in all of these years. And it's the year of finalization, closeouts, and endings. It's a very challenging year in certain ways, but in some ways it's a very nice year. How is it challenging? Well, like I said, it ends certain things. It finalizes and it closes out things. Obviously, if there's things that you didn't want to close out, it's going to be a painful time. But how do you use the energy of it? Well, you can use the energy of it because if there's things that don't work for you anymore, you can end them. If there's jobs that you don't like, you can probably end it and think about moving to another job. If there's relationships that you're tired of, probably end this year. It's a good time to clean out your closets, get rid of clutter, declutter your life. Hence, this is a good year in some ways because you get rid of things that aren't working for you anymore. It's a good year to get rid of the clutter in your life, clutter that doesn't work for you. It could be physical clutter in your life or in your closets at your home and clean out your home, or it could be the emotional clutter in your life as well. But it's also painful because some of the endings and finalizations are things that we don't choose for ourselves, and they just happen in our lives. It could be the leaving of people in our lives. It could be where we have forced to move from the homes that we love. So the energy of Mars is sometimes painful. Like I said, it's the year of closeout. How do you best use this energy? Well, to me, the best use of a final or the last year is where you actually consciously decide what you want to end. What is some of the things that aren't working for you anymore? So instead of making it a year where involuntary endings happen, you can make some voluntary endings on yourself or by yourself. What is something that doesn't work for you anymore? Think through things and then end them or finally close them out yourself. Like I said previously, if the job doesn't work out for you, if the career is not working out for you, if the relationship's not working out, if you don't like where you live, you want a new house, this is the year where you decide how you want to close out and finalize these things that are no longer working for you. It's your diet, your food's not working out for you, and you're sick. You can make all those decisions. You can take decisions and take actions on what you want to get rid of in your life. It's a great year to close out your closet. It's a year to get rid of things, like I said, that you've hoarded for years. It's a year where you get rid of all the stuff that you've been hoarding inside yourself, physically in your homes, and get rid of it. And because next year is going to be the year number one, and you're going to have to start a new 9-year cycle. You don't want to go into a new 9-year cycle with all the clutter and the baggage of the past 9 years. This is also the year where you feel all of a sudden you're getting bored with things that you're not interested anymore, because like I said, this is the final year. You're closing out certain things. Towards the second half of the year, I've noticed that a lot of times in a 9-year, people tend to get bored with things that they've enjoyed in the past. It could be a game, it could be a sport, it could be an activity, it could be a hobby. A lot of people just start getting bored with things that they've been enjoying for so many past years, and they say, well, I don't feel like doing this anymore. You actually may even get bored of a relationship, or you may actually get bored of where you live, your home, the furniture, your decoration, the way you have your home, and you may decide, I don't like this furniture anymore. I'm just going to get rid of it, and I'm going to get new ones. So this is the year where you may slightly start to feel bored in the second half of the year. Now, the first half of the year isn't so bad, but the second half of the year definitely has a lot more of the finalization energy, more than the first half of the year. The first half of the year has more volatile energy. It has more traumatic or a fighting energy. Mars has a tendency to argue, to fight also. So you may have that little fighting spirit. You may have that little fire in you to tell people off as well. And sometimes your relationships end because you've told somebody off. So you need to be careful that you don't end something that you didn't want to end as well. And sometimes, like I said, these endings are because of the way Mars behaves. Mars is a fiery planet. It's an angry little planet, and it likes to fight. It likes to fight without thinking. So you need to be careful how you utilize this energy of Mars. You don't need to start fighting with people and relationships because it's your ego, or you didn't think things through carefully. You need to be very thoughtful of other people, because Mars' tendency is not to be very emotional or to be very compassionate with other people. It's not a compassionate planet. It's just fights without thinking. So you need to make sure that you don't end things that you didn't want to end. So you need to be a little more cautionary this year based on the Mars energy. You need to think through things. You need to take care of relationships. You don't want to end something you didn't want to end. So you need to be very cautious of how you utilize the Mars energy. Otherwise, I think, the 9-year is a very good year in order to get rid of some bad habits that you don't like about yourself. If you've been trying to get rid of some bad habits, this is the year where you say, you know what, I'm done with this habit. I'm not going to do it anymore. So the 9-year does carry some very good potential to get rid of the emotional clutter in your life, get rid of the bad habits in your life, and start working towards a better you, because next year is going to be, the following year is going to be a number 1 year. So it's time to clean out the baggage, time to clean out all the things that don't work out in your life, and start looking forward to a better year. But just make sure that you don't. That's it for this video. I hope everybody has a wonderful 2023. Stay happy. Goodbye.